at John's when you brought the rice that one time?
I do.
So we're sitting in John's barn. I guess we were cooking dinner.
Yeah.
And Pascal had brought rice, and I don't know what I brought. And John Gingrich comes in and says, "Oh, I guess that rice is yours, eh, Rick?" I said, "No, you're racist bastard. That's Pascal's."
But I'll have some anyway.
Yeah. It was enough. It was enough to share. I miss John. John's a good guy. He ran some great matches. He had a great property. He has a great property.
What he got back into trucking, didn't he?
Yep, got back into trucking with his brother, and he's restoring trucks. And I think he shoots for fun. I mean, he's got a perfect playground for it, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Ron Sharp and Pat Robitaille. You know, they've just got all that playground space. Well, cool thing about John, well, John's has that. He's got two different shooting directions, so the winds. Yeah, two different shooting directions,
Yep.
so the winds can be pretty treacherous. So it's always a good time there. And he's such a nice guy too. Great family. So yes.
He came down to one of the very first matches that I hosted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever matches weren't every second weekend, right? People would travel for them.
Yeah. It's good times. Good times. That's the thing about shooting is now there's so much choice. Like there's NRL 22, there's ORPS, there's NRS. When's the NRS finale? Coming up, no? Is it?
It's in September.
Oh, it's September. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's always at Magneto one, right?
Correct.
Yeah, nice. That's a nice venue.
Let me see here.
What's new?
Where's my trusted Google calendar?
Trusted calendar. Do you have a how many events are you shooting this year, Pascal?
This weekend coming up will be my first weekend in probably 6 weeks that I'm not shooting.
That's a lot.
So Magneto one is September 13th, 14th.
Okay, so that's the weekend after our national championships at Pat's place. We squeezed it in there.
Nice.
And then I just heard from the guys out in near Collingwood, Blue Ridge, that they're going to be hosting a King of 2-2 and a CRPS match in like the last weekend in September.
Nice.
So that'll be fun. Yeah, they got approval from MNR and found out they went through all the right procedures. It's amazing. What's that like? Why would you do that? So stay tuned for that. We're going to be posting about that. But that's cool. That is cool. Have you looked at Tesro's rifle builds? Like rifles, small bore rifles. You can buy a Tesro rifle from Tesro. Have you seen them firsthand?
Not firsthand. I've inquired with Asmir quite a bit. We've talked about it, and it's one of those things where I tried the F-class stuff.
Yeah.
It's just not my. It's just
not
my game.
Not your bag, really?
No, and
it's. I mean, if you step away from the F-class stuff, just shooting paper,
yeah,
it's a lot of fun, you know, because our stages are 20 minutes to shoot 20 scoring shots.
Yeah,
that's a lot of time. It's actually relaxing if you just step out of the PRS mindset and not mag dump.
Well, the first and last time I went, it was at EOSC.
Yeah.
And the guy that was organizing, he's like, "Oh yeah, you're a PRS shooter." Like he could tell just by the rifle for one. And then as soon as I got on the line, it was, I'm done in 2.5 minutes. Like, why are we taking 20 minutes for this?
Exactly. Yeah, I just realized I forgot to put the countdown up as a side video. Usually we have this countdown video, so people are like, "What the hell's going on?" Anyway, it is 8:30. Let's go live. Stand by, everybody. Hey, folks. Welcome to the Rimfire Nation Podcast, proudly brought to you by Tesro.ca. Tonight's special guest is Pascal Jolicoeur, shooter, father, MD, just a general nice guy.
Thanks, Rick.
Joining us tonight is our co-host, Travis Mitchell, Mr. Boss Gear himself, working very hard to put bags under our rifles and soon putting a few other things under ourselves. But I think that's still too early to announce that stuff. But Travis, for some reason, just doesn't want to sit still and just make bags for the rest of his life. So
You need to put something on top of them, eh?
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate you guys taking the time out of. It is stinking hot today. I was painting inside an apartment that must have been like 35, 38 degrees inside. It was roasty, toasty.
Oh boy.
Anyway, before we get to Pascal's segment, let's jump in and see what is new at Tesro, our favorite retailer. 1 second. So I was browsing. So I've always wanted on shoots. I've always wanted a Fortner action, and apparently there is a new on shoots coming out. Fortner action, I believe, in a chassis. I don't see it on the website, but I know an email went out from on shoots directly that said, "Hey, stay tuned, it's coming up." But there's a crap ton of beautiful stuff on the Tesro website for small bore rifles. I don't know if you guys ever took a look at that, but you can get a Tesro rifle as well. And his brother is also a CNC machinist, or is a machinist that has access to a 5-axis CNC. I think his YouTube is Bavarian Machine. Anyway, I figured he could probably whip up a PRS chassis for a Tesla rifle. I wonder why I haven't done that yet. But anyway, take a look. His CZ457 builds has been very well received by people all across the country. Part of the fun things I get to do when I host those matches is take a look at what people are shooting. And there are a fair bit of those builds sprinkled across Canada. And a fair bit of Boss Gear bags too. So yeah, Travis, I was out in AMA, Nova Scotia, Dartmouth, Devon, and there were Boss Gear bags everywhere. It was Boss Gear bag confusion. Nobody knew whose was whose. They had to look, figure it out. So I don't know what you did out there, but they're using the bags out there, man. And,
the early days they were popular over there. So it's
and they're still using them.
Yeah, it's great.
There's a lot of good
last
shooters out there. Yeah, there you go. Well, you can't build them to last too long because then you wouldn't sell any more, right?
Oh, that's okay. We just get more new shooters.
There you go. That's it. So people wear them out eventually, right?
Yeah.
What else? The LRP. Hey, Pascal, what was your first rifle? Was it the Savage?
The Mark II.
Mark II.
Savage Mark II.
And the candy apple red flake.
Yeah, so that was Avery's doing. She's like, let's paint this thing. So we took out I had a red Grand Am, a Pontiac Grand Am, and I had some basically GM paint to match because I had some rust spots that I was covering up. And she's like, why don't we just paint it the same color as the car? So we painted the stock, just straight up painted it. And then she's like, this is nice, but could we add sparkles to it?
Nice.
So I bought a can of clear with the red sparkles.
Yeah.
Sprayed that on and then put a clear coat on top. And then that was the birth of the red rifles.
Yeah. I remember seeing it and then meeting you for the first time. I said, I gotta find this guy. And there you were. Now, how long ago was that?
So in the last year that I shot it was in 2022, because that's the year that I came second place overall for ORPS and CRPS in production.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then after that, I switched over to the deuce.
Nice. And you're still shooting the deuce?
I'm still shooting the deuce. Avery's shooting a deuce. So
nice.
We both have them. We've
nice.
got
you got the Gen 2s coming?
No, but we've got the Gen 2 bolts coming. So
okay, nice.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. There's a few changes to it. The bolt is significantly more aggressive when you compare the old one and the new one, just in the tractors.
Okay.
And a new part that's also coming along with it is the bolt release. There's some modifications that have been done there. So,
nice.
Super excited about that.
Perfect. So how did you get started shooting? Everybody's curious. I'm curious.
Okay.
Mind them.
So 17 years ago, I moved, and I live about 7 minutes from Eastern Ontario Shooting Club.
Nice.
And I was going deer hunting with my parents, and I thought maybe I should go zero my rifle. And at that point, I realized I am terrible at shooting, so I should probably practice. So I went out and I bought essentially the original Savage 10BA in 308, which was a ridiculously heavy chassis, and it's just it's the original before the Stealth came out and all that stuff. And I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna spend a lot of money because everybody says whatever you spend on the rifle, you gotta spend double on the optic. So I bought a Zeiss Conquest V6, and it's an amazing piece of glass. And then I went through a couple of mags, and I thought, this is a lot of fun, but this is really expensive. So I went back to the store, and it's like, okay, how do I get into reloading? So then I started reloading for all this stuff, and then I started reloading for all of my rifles. So I've got everything from 222 all the way to 300 Win Mag in just about every caliber. Nice. And then I hear about this rimfire stuff. Like at that point, I don't even own a rimfire. So my first match was the CRPS match in Petawawa.
Yeah.
I think it was in April. It's the one that there was like 4 feet of snow at the firing line. People were crust. Yeah. So I had gone out, bought the Mark II, and at the time I think I had a Bushnell or something on it.
Yeah.
And it was just horrible. It was a terrible experience. So then I switched over to the Covenant, the Cabela's Covenant scope.
That was a popular scope back in the day.
For sure. And I ran those for years. I think I've got 4 or 5 of them.
I had a couple. So,
and that's kind of how the 22 Rimfire thing came about. And it's just through evolution and time and just wanting to shoot more and, being affordable. That's, it's saying rimfire, saying shooting PRS rimfire is more affordable is about the same thing as saying reload for your center fire. It's cheaper.
You just shoot more.
Exactly. You just shoot more. It's not cheaper. It's more affordable. You just do it more.
It's the lack of prepping. It's the lack of reloading and brass prep. Brass prep for me is the worst part about center fire. That is the worst because there's like a 3-hour run up before you can start shooting, right? And that's if you only shoot like 120 rounds once a month. But if you're shooting 2 or 3 matches, then your cost and your time involved gets outrageous. That's why people shoot factory.
So get
factory
this.
Ammo.
A couple years ago, after when the border reopened after COVID and all that, we started traveling a lot more to the U.S. And there's a couple of places like Sheepdog and MKM and those ranges that they'll do a double header, the center fire on Saturday and the rim fire on Sunday.
Right.
And the idea was, it's far enough. Let's make it a 2-day weekend. Let's start shooting center fire.
Right.
So I ended up buying a used 6x47 laptop.
Nice.
And it's a Defiance action.
Nice.
And it was wasn't an IBI barrel? I think it was. I bought it off Rob Gordon, actually.
Okay. Nice.
And I went to a couple of matches. That was a lot of fun. Decided I'm going to change the barrel. And then I had Black Box Custom do a Cerakote job on them. And then took that out, started shooting that. That was a boatload of fun. And then this year, Avery said, I think I'd like to try a center fire match. Okay, no problem. So I had a 223, the Remington VTR, the one with the triangle barrel.
Yeah, the triangle barrel. Yep. I know that one well.
So I've got that. It's a Remington 700, so I've got plenty of chassis that I can put that in. So I put it in an XRS, and I think I had put her Apex scope on it. So then Gabe Jones, his daughter, Eva, she's like, I'd like to try it as well. Okay, no problem. I load 250 rounds of 223.
Right. They're going to run the same gun.
Yeah, they hot gun it for that day just to see if they like it.
Yeah.
So they zero. And then in the morning, they try to hit some of the stuff a little bit further out, like at 400, 500, 600 yards, and they're having a hard time.
Yeah.
They go through 4 stages, and it's just not working. I think the thing is shooting 55 grain bullets in a 1 in 14 twist barrel. It's just it's not set up for
Yeah.
So both of them are very discouraged. At that point, Deborah Gomo is like, I've got the loaner rifle. I can lend that to Eva. And then I told Avery I had enough ammo with my 6x47 that she could shoot the rest of the match with that.
Nice.
So she proceeds to kick my butt in the first 3 stages that she does with my rifle.
Nice.
So on the way down, I asked her, I said, so what do you think? She's like, I like it. It's a lot of fun, but your rifle's really heavy, and I can't see the trace or the impact because of the recoil.
Right.
So I said, okay, well, if you're serious about it, maybe we can build you something. Yeah. So I call Ryan at IBI, start chatting, and we settled on a deadline with a 6BR barrel.
Nice.
So we put that together, put a 2-stage trigger tech on that. I bought a used ACC Gen 1 because she really likes that one. And then we put an Apex scope on it. And she absolutely loves that. But if you want to talk about brass prep, this is the kicker. In a couple weeks, we're going to Sheepdog, and we've decided we're going to hot gun the 6BR. So now I got to bring 400 rounds for that. That's end of June. And then mid-July, Avery and I are flying out to Calgary to go to the Apex match.
Nice.
But that's an 18-stage match. So now I've got to bring 450 rounds.
Jeez. That's just the cost of brass alone. Are you shooting with Lapo brass?
Yes.
What's your oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The cheap stuff.
So I bought
oh my gosh.
I bought 100 brass, 100 pieces of brass, and then I bought 100 loaded rounds. So I have 200 brand spanking new ones. Or I bought 200 pieces of brass plus the 100 rounds. So I've got 300. And then I was lucky enough to find another couple hundred pieces from Steve Barks. So
nice.
But now it's a matter of I've got to load a pile of ammo in the next month.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
What? How heavy a bullet are you shooting on it?
105 grain.
Burgers, hybrids.
I just started shooting the Hornadies, the boat tail hollow points.
Okay.
It's like let's get used to it, and then we'll switch over to the burgers after.
Nice. Good. That's awesome.
So, yeah, it's so that's been exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. Something new to learn.
Something new to learn. Something new to kick my butt.
Yeah. Hey, Travis, did you ever get into center fire much?
No, I haven't.
No?
Just I can't even shoot rimfire, right? So center fire, like I have center fires, but nothing really for PRS. I'd like to get a 700 action of some sort. Probably just get a 6.5 Creedmoor because I can get ammo easy. I don't reload.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
I've been looking at it. I've got a whole bunch of Canadian Tire money saved up. So,
there you go.
So I keep telling the wife I'm going to use that to buy a gun.
Nice. Can't go wrong with 6.5 Creed.
That's what I figured. I'm not going to be reloading. I'm not going to be testing anything. I'm going to buy Hornady match and put it in the gun and shoot it. Right.
Yeah.
So I've got a Savage 223 that I really like. It's just like such a pleasure to shoot. It has a muzzle brake on it for a 223, which I always thought was silly, but that's the way it came. But for the longest time, trying to get magazines for that rifle, it was like $200 for a magazine.
Really?
Well, MDT had their sale, and I bought their that entry level stock, the polymer stock for it that accepts the AICS mags.
Nice.
So that solved that problem pretty quick. I think the stock was the same price as a magazine and a half or something like that. So I do have a 223 that I can shoot if there's an event around.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh yeah,
it's just fun
for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So now you're match directing now, right, Pascal? Have you been doing that? How long have you been doing that?
What? So it's been a very progressive transition.
Sneaky transition.
So Tom took over 5-6 years ago for the matches in Stittsville.
Yep.
And then with Pat being so close to my place and then providing us all the target hangers and the targets and all that stuff, I started helping Tom, like just setting up and bringing some stuff over.
All right. Yeah. There you go.
And then Tom was always like the guru with the tablet and then practice score and all that stuff. So a couple years ago when we started SPR, because that's what we used to do. We used to do the ORPS and then we do like
5 stages,
a couple of bonus stages. So we do like 8 stages total.
Nice. Yeah, just to make a full day out of it.
Yeah. So then when we started doing PRS, we said, well, why don't we do 5 ORPS stages and then 5 SPR, the Stittsville Precision Rimfire stages. Right. And those will be intended to be practice for PRS.
Right.
And Tom's like, fine, if you feel like writing those course of fires, go ahead. So I was writing those. And then I started making themes out of it. So like in the month of May, it was like May the 4th be with you. And it was like all Star Wars theme. In March, it was all like St. Patty's Day. I had an Easter match. I had a Halloween match.
Nice.
At Christmas, awesome. I had a full Christmas match. So I started playing around with cutting targets and that kind of stuff. So that's what led me to that piece and the writing course of fires. And then last year we decided if we're going to do the PRS stuff, why don't we just register the club with PRS and then run PRS matches? So that's how that came about. And then Tom got busy and, it was more and more matches running and, our schedules weren't quite lining up with all the weekends that we wanted to shoot. So he said, well, how about I just give you access to practice score and then we can be co-MDs. Perfect. Right. Sounds good. Yeah. And then, from this year, Tom's been quite busy. So he's taken a step back. And now, I'm doing a little bit more than I normally do. But that's
what happens.
Yeah.
It's that slow creep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like Mike Hynek saying, setting up matches is a gateway drug. That's how it starts.
I have a T-shirt that says 22LR is a gateway drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a life. I was looking at the first matches. I'll post a pic on Facebook one day. I took a picture of the gear at the very first CRPS match, April 18th, 2018. Something like that. It was that weekend. And Savage Mark IIs and Ruger
Wasn't that the
1022s.
Petawawa match?
No, this was in Owen Sound.
Owen
The
Sound.
very first one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was we had a snow squall in there. It was rough. But it was good. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, no. So now how many events do you guys run at Stittsville? Precision.
I mean,
SPR.
it varies from year to
It's
year.
at least once a month in the summertime, right?
Well, this year's a little bit different because of Worlds. So at shooting with SPR, we've got Matt Dory, Colin, Rob Gordon, Avery, Eva.
So like a third of the team.
Who am I forgetting? Yeah, there's a pile of people. So for us to have a match in August makes no sense.
Yeah.
So, and then last year what we did is when the new season began, I thought, and there was a lot of fatigue last year also at the end of the season. So some of the guys, and we've had some matches in January and February where it's minus 33 in the morning and
thanks.
We can see the bullets fall in the snow before it reaches the 50-yard zero board.
Oh, is that right?
So it's not worth it. So we implemented a new policy. Basically, if it's minus 25, we're canceling the match.
Okay. That's a good policy.
For those MDs that have canceled matches, you know how much of a nightmare that is.
Yeah.
I've canceled 2 matches in my life, and I've pretty much vowed to never do it again. So unless there's a tornado, we're shooting.
I don't think we've ever canceled. I canceled one match due to low attendance, low registration. Only one, ever.
Yeah, and I remember there was a CRPS match in Valcartier.
Oh yes,
February or something, and I thought
no, it was actually in the spring, like March.
Yeah, and I remember I had registered for that, and I was all gung-ho to go, and I looked at the weather, and I thought, there's no way I'm coming back from that thing on the same day because of the weather. And didn't you guys end up canceling partway through the match?
We shot half the day.
Yeah.
So we set up beautiful summer day. It was bright spring thaw. It was like just around freezing mark, beautiful sunshine setup. Next day it was like blizzard conditions. You couldn't see targets. Targets were getting blown over. People's actions were freezing. The scopes were just getting plugged with snow. We canceled halfway through. The winning score was like 12 or 13 for half a day. And a whole bunch of people would come out for that one. You could actually still search on Practice Score for it.
Wow.
Valcartier 2019, I think. It was the rough match. Yeah. Good old days.
One time we had the smoke from all the forest fires. One year it was really bad. So people were asking, are you going to cancel for air quality? Nope, we're going. So it's, everything looked like your scope was like it had condensation on it almost because of the smoke at distance. But we ran it anyway.
Hey, so if people want to get involved with SPR, they just go on Facebook and then they request to join? Because you guys have a mailing list, don't you also?
The mailing list is precision22.ca, I believe. And Tom's in charge of that one. But I think the best way to reach us would be through the Facebook page.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So people want to know more. Because you guys get a ton of shooters, don't you? It's fairly popular.
Yeah, I mean it varies. It really depends. Last weekend was Father's Day weekend. It was kind of a last minute thing. I thought,
Brave man.
Well, and I asked beforehand at the previous match, are guys interested in shooting that weekend? Because I figured people will travel, and I thought, a weekend off would be good.
Yeah.
We had 23 shooters registered.
Nice.
So
that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's a good turnout.
I mean, the qualifier match now, I think our registration stands at around 38, 39.
Okay, nice.
So,
and that's the first weekend in July?
Yeah, July 5th and July 6th.
July 5th and July 6th. And people can still register for that, right?
Yeah, so usually I'll close my registration the Friday before, like the Friday just before the match. So shoot Saturday, registration closes Friday at 9 p.m.
Right.
Because at 9 p.m. I basically set up the tablets and all that stuff for the next day.
Okay.
So I don't go to bed very early, ever.
Nice. And that's at Pat Robitaille's place?
That is at Pat's, yeah.
Nice. That's a nice place.
Yeah. And it's themed this year. So we took a page from Adam with the Varmint Slayer. So we're doing a pig slayer. But we're going to combine that with a pig roast Saturday night.
Nice.
And then
yeah.
So your entry fee includes the match and the dinner for Saturday night. And then the qualifier or the season finale for our club on Sunday. That one, the registration fee includes your T-shirt.
Okay.
So
nice.
Looking forward to the pig roast.
What's that?
So I'm looking forward to the pig roast. I'm shooting that one. I'm not shooting the Sunday, but I'm shooting the Saturday.
Yeah, it's too bad. I will be in. Where am I going to be? I'm going to be in Alberta somewhere, I think. Otherwise, I'd be all over that.
And in true SPR fashion, it's a pig slayer match. So guess what some of the targets are going to be?
Nice. Nice.
So we're cutting a whole series of new targets that people have never seen before. So that should be
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so handy having that plasma cutter, CNC plasma.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got one at work too, so it's nice just to be able to go on CAD, do something up, and once you have that the layout, you can scale it pretty easily, right? So a sheet of mild steel, I think last time I did it was $400 or something like that for a 4x8 sheet. That was a few years ago. It might be more now, but you can get an awful lot of targets out of a 4x8 sheet.
It's funny because it fluctuates quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
During COVID, the price of steel was ridiculously high, and then it came tumbling and crashed, and then it went up again. And I haven't ordered a 1/4 inch in a bit, but the last time I think. Hold on a second. Let me check because I'm pretty sure the last 1/4 inch. I lie. I bought it 2 months ago. It was around $300, I think.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
that's not bad. That's a crap ton of targets.
Yeah, especially when they're all 1 and 2 inches.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. I gotta order. I need more woodland creatures. Some challenging one. I'm getting tired of rounds and squares and diamonds and triangles. So need more. But it's hard. Anything with legs, they always get bent up after a while.
So I ended up doing the last creatures that I did. I had done a couple of moose targets, and one of them was a moose standing up. And to make sure that the legs didn't completely bend off, we had kind of put grass at the bottom.
Okay.
But the intention was the target was the actual body of the moose. Anything else is kind of, bonus. If you hit it, you get lucky.
Right.
But the other one was the head of the moose, and it kind of spelt moose in the antlers.
Oh, really? That's
so that one was kind of nice, and it was chunky enough that it doesn't bend. And I found there's a couple of targets that I did, depending on how you cut the inside. If you cut too much on the inside, you're right, it'll completely bend. But I've got a Death Star cut out.
Nice.
And that one's lasted quite a bit. So.
And all of yours are a quarter inch thick?
They're all quarter-inch mild steel.
Quarter-inch, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. So far, everything I had that was a quarter-inch held up. Pat made me an 1/8-inch steel full-size IPSC, and that gets a curve in it by the end of the day. Yeah. So every time I use that one, I've got to straighten it back out.
So I built a full-size IPSC wind teacher. So
it's all slit.
Yeah, they're basically 3 inches wide slits, and they're 36 inches tall, or I think the whole thing is 40 inches tall.
Yeah.
And it's 3 times, was it 18 inches total? So 3 times 6. And it's in 3/16 because that one was intended to be, around 250 yards or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, Travis. They do get a curve in them at some point. So
they ring nice though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I can't believe Jason doesn't like my moose.
It's an acquired taste.
I know. That's okay, Jason. Next time I'll bring the ducks out. I've got some ducks, and one of them I think is only a 1-inch target.
Nice.
So.
It's hard. Those things get hammered, and sometimes great target on great gravel is like you just can't see it.
Well, and that's the other thing that I don't know. I really like it, and I know it's not ideal for everybody. But what I've started doing is really just stage 1. All the targets are the same color. So, and I'll pick burgundy, for example.
Yeah.
And then stage 2, all the targets are teal. Stage 3, all the targets are green. And I find that just makes life a little bit easier.
Yeah, I've done that as well.
How many targets do you put out at a match? Typically, a 10-stage match. Are you over 20?
Yeah, I typically I'll go between. Well, see, the last match we did, we had 8 stages. We had 21 targets, I think.
Oof, okay, that's a lot. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. At Stittsville, it gets really crowded.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But
we average between 14 and 17 targets per 10-stage match. And we reuse them in the afternoon. We'll drop some and put some new ones up. And that's only a function of the number of stands I've got.
Well, and that's the other thing too. I played around with some of the stands. So that single and double hook stand. Yeah. Well, one of the things that I found, especially shooting in NRL, in the double hook stand, they'll put a 2-inch and a 2.5-inch target on that double stand. And at distance, some of the spotters were having difficulties seeing which target was being hit.
Yeah.
So what we did is we took that single hook stand, we drilled a hole through it, a 1/2-inch hole, and then I put a rod, basically a metal shaft, welded that in there. And now I've got washers welded on each end. So now I can interchange targets. So they basically, it's the same concept as the KYL, but just with a shorter stem and a target. So now you've got spinning targets, but they're easy to change, and it's pretty obvious which one it is that you hit. Nice. And you don't have to worry about post hits.
Yeah, true.
So.
Yeah, every few matches I gotta use the Sawzall and cut the tops of the posts off because they just get hammered. But you lose about 3 inches every time. So
that's wild. Yeah, the ones that Pat made for me are still hanging in there. they're just hooks on rebar, and then we have the little X wing foot on it. They kind of slot into each other. That's been working really well. It's so fast.
I remember working on those.
Oh yeah, you were part of that crew.
Oh yeah.
He originally had built it so that they go into that little steel rectangular cutout onto 2x4, and then we just it would have been too bulky.
Yeah.
So we converted it to just the slotted steel feet.
Yeah, and I remember we did some testing to see how short we could get those feet.
Yeah.
Because I remember Pat at first suggested, let's go 12 inches.
Yeah.
And 12 inches with a 1022, we knocked it over. It was a lot of fun, though.
Yeah, no, it works out. I mean, for the up close ones, you've got to weigh it down because they'll pivot, they'll spin around, they'll eventually creep out of 90-degree face.
Yeah.
So we'll just put some weights on it.
Everything is fine. I built these what we refer to as the little cars, because it basically looks like a car, and you've got two tubes, and we just shove rebars in them.
Nice.
And the rebars are 18 inches long, but then they'll accept the T-posts as the main stand.
Nice.
And then we use the little elephant hooks that goes on top of the T-posts.
Yeah.
But I've had to add nails on each side that's spiked down into the ground.
Yeah.
Plus another blade, because it's exactly that what happens depending on the terrain. As the day goes through, the targets tend to walk away.
Yeah.
So
that's the worst part. Target failure is the worst thing. It just makes me
pain
angry.
of my existence.
It makes me angry.
Yep.
And you think by now, we would have dialed it out, but shit just happens. Because we zip tie those bases together, and every now and again we get spalling that hits a zip tie and cuts it. I can't be bothered to wire them and then cut wiring for the one failure out of 100,
So there's a Facebook post that's been going around, someone basically using a tire and then just setting it on top as a shroud. And I thought, you know what? I've got 4 old tires here. I'm going to give that a shot. So I put a piece of 2x4 inside, screwed it with, I used the table saw to cut a 1/4-inch slot in it. So that way, when I put it directly on top of the base, it won't shift left to right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice. And then as we're setting them up, I realized one of the holes is big enough where you can put the post directly through. So now your stand sits right in the middle of the target or of the tire, and the target is in the middle of the tire. I thought this is great. It adds weight to the base. They're not going to move around. Yeah. One of them fell over last match.
Really?
I don't know. It just fell over.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. My number one criteria is how flat can I pack stuff?
Yeah.
Because I've got to carry all the props for a 20-stage match.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm getting there.
I got around the target failure. I made some target hangers, but they only work on T-posts. So essentially I cut a plate with 4 holes in it for bolts, and then a hook on the end that comes, like 270 degrees.
Right.
So, and then I take 2 of them and I put one hook one way and one hook the other and bolt them together, but they're loose. And there's a big slit in the steel so that you can slide it over the T-post, and then there's a gap between the plates. So like the bottom part of the T will go between the gap, and the slit goes between the face of the T-post. Yeah. And since I started using those, I haven't had one target failure. Knock on wood, right? Because to get the target off, you have to flip it up.
Yeah.
Like past 90 degrees, right? And it just, unless the holder falls off the T-post, which it would have to travel up 3 inches, it's not going to fail. Or a bolt breaks. If someone hits some bolts and shears them off. maybe, but
I'm sure those experienced MDs in the States are laughing at us. Look at these Neanderthals up here.
yeah.
You know what? I've gone to matches in the States where I'm like, I really question the hangers and some of this. I remember there was a match at Sheepdog, and they had used those wet floor
Signs. Yeah.
And it was just flying around and flopping. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I thought this is amateur hour, but anyway, it's just people try different things, and
Yeah.
One of the things that I found, one of the MDs essentially put a hose clamp at the end of the hook.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just to prevent the targets from flying off.
Yeah.
Like, a hose clamp is a pretty easy fix.
Yeah.
So
some guys will do fuel line, rubber fuel line.
Yep.
But it depends. What I'm learning is don't put up close targets as a single target on the stage. It'll just get hammered. No matter what you do, they'll just get hammered.
Yep.
So because we always have the time stage, right? It's always going to be one target. Usually it's one target in 5 or 10 positions. It's kind of like the thing. And that one single stand just takes 30 guys, 10 rounds, 300 rounds,
yep.
Right? It just gets hammered. If something's going to fail, it's that one.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah, it's fun. It's fun trying to predict what's going to happen. But the nice part is there's so many experienced shooters now that, everyone knows what's going to happen, or, they're willing to jump in and sort it out. You don't have to be the guy that runs down range anymore. Or they're just taking pity on the old guy MD.
I especially when I make the target fail, it's like, okay, what is it that I did that I shouldn't have done to make sure that this failed, and then how do I correct it? But yeah, I think that was, you're asking it earlier. How did I get into the whole MD game? Yeah. I think it was in that design component of, I think I can make this a little bit better. Let me tinker with this, or let me tinker with that, and then let me test it out. And
you spend a lot of time designing targets and stages. like 90% of the joy you have is in making the targets on the stage, right?
100%. Yeah.
I've been using the same targets for like 8 years now. I feel. Wait a minute, something's wrong here. I'm not. How could I be more Pascal-y? But I don't have access to plasma. CNC plasma.
That
if
helps.
I did, man, it would be wild. All my 80% of my budget would be in steel.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Travis, I know at one point you had sent me the list of targets that you had. And I thought, hey, this is a good idea. I'm going to do an inventory of how many targets I've got.
Oh, my gosh.
We're at somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 pieces of steel at some point.
Holy crap.
So now I'm actually looking at a new storage function way of putting all this stuff away, because
I should buy all your old ones you don't use anymore. Take them out west.
But that's the thing is, I do use them. Like because I have so many of them. They only come out once or twice a year. So
you have that Simple Simon one, right? The Simon Says.
The fun part about the Simon Says is on one side it's got all the colors, and you flip it around, and it's white and red in the middle. So that's just the Hosted one.
Nice.
So
everybody knows the Simon Says one, or Simple Simon, whatever it is.
Oh yeah, that was a fun one. And then the next KYL that's coming out. I mean, it's a KYL. It's not going to be anything special, but it's going to be a fun design.
Jason wants me to take the moose. He really hates that moose. You have a picture of it somewhere? You don't have a picture of it somewhere, right? That's too bad. So the folks at home can join in the revenue.
I don't have a picture of the moose, unfortunately.
All right. Well,
the only reason I did an inventory is because whenever I was designing matches, I would add what targets I'm using on each stage, and it would automatically deduct it from my inventory so I can see what's left.
Right.
If you have 150 targets, you don't have to worry about it. But if you have whatever 50 or 60, and you plan on using them all on a match, it's like, okay, I'm using these on this day, these on this day.
Yeah, that's like ORPS, because there's only 8 stands or whatever, X number of stands, and there's a set. So that's like the ultimate. That's the worst part, is keeping track of what targets you've used and what props and what distances. Oh, we got a question from Cecil Derrick. What starter 22 would you recommend for a 9-year-old? What do you think, guys? Depends on the size of the shooter. It'll have to be a short length of pull typically.
You could do something super light, like a 1022 and a Magpul Hunter stock is very light.
Or those Grey Birch Foundation chassis are pretty nice. They're not that adjustable, though.
No, they're not.
But they're light.
The Bergara carbon fiber barreled action in a 126 chassis.
Yeah.
I don't know
that's at the upper end of the budget, but
I mean, listen.
Honestly,
Savage Mark II. What's a light? Savage Precision 64. Those are light.
Yeah. CZ synthetic, the 457 synthetic. Then you have something you can build on in the future.
Yeah.
You can get it with a 16-inch barrel. The synthetic stock is super light.
The ones. So we have a loaner. It's a 16-inch 457 MTR in a KRG Bravo. That thing fits everybody, young shooters, small statured women, me, and then you can just put spacers in to extend the length of pull. Usually it's light, something light that is safe for a new shooter, that there's no risk of it sliding off and they won't be able to control it. That's the big thing that MDs are concerned about, is being able to maintain control over that rifle. So really it's something light that you're looking for. So Savage Mark II, CZ457 synthetic, Tika T1X. I'm trying to think of Savage 64 precision. Semi-autos are less recommended for new shooters because of the, you have to put the safety on and declare safe before you transition. So it's one more thing to remember rather than just leave the bolt up and open. What else is out there, guys? Bolt action. I mean,
it depends what you want to spend, really, right?
Yeah, I mean, what's the cheapest you'd go? 1022 Winchester Wildcat semi-auto, right? $300-400.
So I went through all of that with Avery.
Yeah,
I got her on the Savage Mark II. Yeah. I had the 64. She tried the Wildcat. She tried the A22, the B22. The A22 was a semi. It was nice, but the length of pull was too long.
Yeah.
The B22, the B22 was nice. It was a short barrel one. Like, I think it was 18-inch. So that one wasn't bad. But when I got that barreled action from Bergara, and it was the carbon fiber barrel, that's the one that she stuck with. That was the one. That was her favorite.
Okay. Hey Cecil, PM me. I've got some old demo Savage rifles if you're interested in most of the price ranges. I think we have a B22 and a synthetic in there. That would be perfect, light, small, sporter barrel. The Bergaras are, it's funny? We rarely see Bergaras now. I think since some of the issues they had, and I don't know, I personally haven't had the issues, but like for a while, 4 years ago, it was all.
Yeah, they were everywhere.
They were everywhere. Everyone had one. Now it's rare that I see one. Every other match I see a Bergara. But I have an old Bergara BXR, like the semi-auto 1022 pattern. Those are nice rifles.
I thought you'd see more of the B14s. Like it's your lowest cost of entry in a 700 platform, but I rarely see them.
But now the 457's got almost an equivalent, ecosystem now.
Yeah,
whatever you can get for the 700, you can get for the 457.
Yeah, pretty well.
You know? We just can't transfer stuff over from your. Mind you, most people are now just starting off with, Rimfire 457, and later on jumping into a centerfire, which is wild. Which is going to be the knock-on effect that no one, everyone thinks they're going to stay in Rimfire, but after 5-6 years, people want a different bang, I guess.
You also think, hey, I'm going to stay in production forever, and look how that worked out for me. That's why the 457 is such a good platform to start with, because you can do anything with it, right? You can stay in production if you want. You can add an Arca rail to the front and a cheek riser to the back, and it will suit you just fine in production. Yeah. Or you could change out everything but the action.
Yeah. Hey, all the guys that are out there, what are you guys shooting now? Mike, Dan, Jason, Cecil, Steve? Most of them are running custom actions now, I think. Mike's got everything, so I don't know what he likes. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think Jason's still shooting production, I think.
457, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. I mean, after a while, you want something different,
Yeah.
I mean, but there is a purity in production, though, that I kind of like.
Yeah, but once you shoot a balanced rifle, it's really hard to go back. That was the biggest thing I found moving from production to open, and it's just like night and day. You put your rifle on the rest, and it just sits there. You're like, oh, that's what this is all about. I can get used to this. I don't care if my rifle's 20 pounds. I don't even have to move it.
So I finally bit the bullet and actually got Avery her own ACC chassis, and she asked me, she's like, hey, could I get the Baker wings on it? And I'm like, yeah, sure, you want the Baker wings, let's give it a shot. And after her first match, her comment was, this is so much easier than before because of the way that the rifle was balanced. It's just a little bit heavier. But she's like, because before that she was in the Hunter 26.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it takes more effort to be a good shooter in the Hunter 26.
Yeah,
because like the chassis, the ACC is a cheat code. Because we've been running those paper precision at the Tesro paper precision matches every month since April, I think, or March even. And the morning, it's a half day, so in the morning we run kind of like a mini marksmanship and ammo testing. Then we have the demo rifles there, right? So they're shooting the 50 bench, 50 prone. Everyone's shooting theirs, and the production guys are shooting their synthetic stocks, and then they want to try, the Rimex or the Voodoo in an ACC, and it's just stacking rounds, with so little effort compared to what they had to do to get even a round within the scoring, ring of the 10 or the 9. It's like, this is crazy, but it's important to have those fundamentals. If you can shoot a production rifle really well, it makes a jump to shooting an open rifle really well also,
There was one, I can't remember what it was. Avery ended up shooting a rifle that had essentially a production trigger in it.
Yeah.
And the comment was, what's wrong with this trigger? Is it stuck? I was like, no, that's what a normal trigger feels like.
Oh, she's spoiled.
She runs a 2-stage diamond from Trigger Tech.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
I went to the range with John Peltier one day. We both have 457, so we were just messing around with it. I had bought a Timney. I didn't do anything. I threw it in the rifle and forgot about it. And I let him try my rifle. He's like, what is wrong with your trigger? Why is it so heavy? I'm like, I don't know. I just threw it in the rifle. I didn't touch it. And I tried his. I was like, I've got to adjust my trigger. Yeah. I adjusted my trigger, and it's like, oh my God, what a difference.
Yeah. Did you try that new Gunsmoke Services flat blade?
I haven't tried it. I've heard good things. I sell them, but I haven't tried it myself. Just because I have the Timney in, it's I didn't bother doing that. But to get a Yo-Dave spring and a flat trigger for $100, I think it's a really good upgrade if you don't want to spend $300 plus on a trigger.
Yeah, I just like the flat blade.
Yeah,
I'm used to it.
Yeah, I got I had just the Yo-Dave trigger spring in before, and it was good.
Yeah,
not like a Timney, but until you try the Timney, you don't know what you're missing. It's a big upgrade over the stock. So.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Jason got spoiled. He borrowed John Peltier's Rimex. Ugh. Never do that, buddy. It's a bad thing to do. If you love what you're shooting, don't try any high-end builds that are like 20 pounds weighted. They just shoot themselves almost,
Yeah, for the longest time I refused to look through good glass. I was just using the Vortex Venom. I was like, I don't want to look through a $2,000 or $3,000 scope, because then I'm going to want one. And now I'm shooting an Aries, right?
Right, there you go. Hey Pascal, you guys still shooting Apex? Are you still Apex sponsored?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, so we just got a new Rival X in, and then I got the Apex Edge, that 1 to 10 LPVO, and the idea is to put that on my 357 Magnum lever action. So
nice.
Because why not?
That's right.
If it was a 45-7, it'd be a 1 to 4.
I always thought it's a 1 to 10, so it's kind of like and the illumination in it is really neat. And I always thought this would be the perfect hunting scope for my situation, like where I'm at. It's very, I don't know, 40 to 70 yards would probably be the longest shots I'd be taking.
That's all of Quebec, Pascal.
But that's the thing. So I used to run a whole bunch of Nikons 2 to 7.
Yeah.
And that 1 to 10, all of a sudden, it's like, I don't know, I ain't gonna give it a shot. So
first focal plane's nice too, right?
Yeah. And this one, like I said, the illumination at 1 power, it's just a red dot. So
yeah, that's it. Just red dotted, man.
At 10 power, you've got the full Christmas tree in it. So
yeah, wild. That's awesome. Hey, let's talk about Avery, if you don't mind. When did Avery start shooting?
So
how old was she?
Avery was 5 years old when she started shooting.
Nice.
We went to so EOSC used to run a kids' day before National Range Day came on. And at the time I was a member, and I thought, I've got a couple of kids, so I'm going to take them along, see how they like it. And I had a Kui 64 with iron sights.
Yeah,
and
I got one.
Yeah. So they were shooting at balloons and clays and stuff like that. And Avery's having a hard time. Like, she's 5 years old, so she's having a hard time lining the irons and then hitting stuff. And one of the older members that was there, he's like, hold on a second. I got something for you. He pulls out the exact same rifle, but with an optic on it.
Nice.
So he explains to Avery, just, put the crosshair on the target and pull the trigger. So he starts doing that, and she's like, this is a lot of fun. So that kind of started. And then she ended up going to the kids' day pretty much every year after that. And for those people that have seen the National Range Day picture with the kid in the pink t-shirt staring at the camera with the glasses, that's Avery. They've been using that picture for forever. And then it was this year, Tracy realized, hey, this is Avery. And then with the whole Team Canada thing, I told her, bring your rifle, bring some of your trophies. We'll do a little booth. So then that, what's her name? Amanda Lynn Mayer was there from That Hunting Girl, and Tracy Wilson. So they interviewed Avery, and then they're like, yeah, we'll put you on the air in the show next year, and then see how that goes. But yeah, it had been 10 years that Avery had been doing
That's wild.
either the kids event or the National Range Day thing.
So how old is she now? She's
15.
15. And selected to go to represent Canada in the youth
which
category.
It was a conversation that I had with her for a couple of years, and it's like, well, how serious are you, and how do you feel about the whole idea of going? And she's a competitive dancer, so from February to May, that's pretty much dance season for them. So it takes out shooting. And then in 2023, she basically suffered through 4 concussions. So that kind of wrecked her shooting season altogether. And then after taking that 1 year break, I think she realized, I really enjoy shooting, so I'm going to put a little bit more into it now.
Down.
So,
nice. Nice. So did you have to get a second job now to support her shooting?
No, my wife did. My wife
awesome.
did support the dance. So
okay,
it's the cheat code.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Dance is expensive. I had one daughter in competitive cheer, and I had another daughter in Irish dance.
Yeah,
it is amazing how much it takes, time and money. But
it's funny you mentioned competitive cheer because Jess Tischler was in competitive cheer as well. And I always thought Jess and Avery look alike and they do their hair the same way. And then this year, Chris started commenting on some of Avery's pictures. It's like, I thought that was Jess. I didn't realize she was at that match. And it's like, no. And then Jess and Avery started chatting. And now they're pretty excited to be shooting together at a couple of events this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's good. Good. So are you guys, well, you're working August, right? Is Worlds?
Yeah.
Not that far away.
I know. So leaving on the 13th, coming back on the 25th or something. So
amazing.
It's pretty exciting.
It's going to be so much fun. Yeah. She's excited. She must be excited.
Yeah. And, one of the things is, how do you prep for that? And it's one thing to practice and stuff, but, we do the dry fire at home. We've got EOSC that they've allowed us to put up the props. We shoot at 50 yards. I printed targets that are basically the KYL version of a paper target. So I've got a 1 inch or 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/4 inch circles. So we'll do drills like that. But then just being in the match environment is just something for her to work on. And then interestingly enough, that the first match that I will not be there at all for her is going to be a center fire match, a 2-day center fire match. So good luck, Avery.
That's good. Well, you gotta, that's a stress inoculation, right?
Well, and the thing is, like I said, that's the Apex one in Calgary. So the idea was we're flying there, just going through the motions of flying with the rifle, the gear, how we're going to pack it, that kind of stuff, how it's going to work with a minor. At least it's within country. So, and it's not the end of the world if something happens and we get there and there's a missing rifle or something. So anyway, we're taking that piece as a learning curve, if you will.
Nice.
So hopefully,
congratulations! I didn't say congratulations. You must be so proud.
Oh, I'm thrilled. Like this is amazing.
Are you old enough to make senior yet?
Not quite. I'm getting there. And of the group, I think I'm going to be one of the first ones. So
yeah. There you go.
And I'm not going to say who's going to beat me to it, but I think we're going to be in the same class.
Nice. That's going to be fun. It's good. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm so happy for you guys. That's an awesome experience to go through.
Well, and I think so for dance, they travel. And then the idea of traveling, like when we go to the US and stuff like that, she finds that a lot of fun.
Yeah.
She likes hanging out with the Stittsville crew. The Collins, I'm going to call them out. She really likes hanging out with the Collins. So, but, you know, and it's when the idea came up where it's like, do you want to go shoot in Europe? And it's like, all of a sudden that's like, ooh, this is really interesting now.
Yeah.
Have that opportunity to do that at that age.
That's amazing.
It's pretty significant.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that you can give her that opportunity.
Well, her older sister, she's 17. She's going to university in September. She did go to Europe this March as a school trip, and I had done the same thing when I was in grade 12.
Okay.
And it's like, you know what? That to me just opened. My parents didn't travel, so it's like to be able to give them that opportunity and then do that level of traveling. It's just so much fun after.
Yeah.
So
it's wild. It's a cool experience. See the world in their eyes as well. It's going to be interesting. You know, watch it unfold. You know, which is cool. It's good. Yeah. It sounds like the team is gelling pretty good, and the support staff is primed and ready to go. We were talking with Carly a couple of weeks ago, and you know, all that stuff that's underway, and obviously there's also fundraising to help out, which we shared already also. So that's good. Yeah.
So I'm going to do a plug here for the SPR match in July. So I mentioned the Saturday, that's the qualifier. There's going to be the pig roast. And then the pig roast is going to be close to the firing line. So I thought if everybody's going to be gathering around for dinner, we might as well do something in the meantime. So what I was thinking of doing is a bit of a dueling tree tournament as a fundraiser for Team Canada. So have the dueling tree, people can sign up, and then as people have dinner, they can watch the tournament unfold, essentially.
So I can bring my speed steel gun.
You know what? It may not be a bad idea to bring a semi. So
fastest time for six hits? Or
I was going to do 1-on-1. It's whoever flips all the paddles to the other side.
Okay. Oh, so it's like two shooters at the same time.
Two shooters at the same time. I'm hoping to get like at least 20 shooters.
Oh yeah.
And then do you know, a tournament style 2, and then if you win, you advance to the next one.
Is Tony Norman signed up?
Not yet. He might.
Well, he'll sign up the day before.
He'll show up Saturday morning. That's when Tony arrives.
Tony Norman is my record holder of someone signing up before registration closes. He signed up at 8:56.
Is that right?
But yeah, so I thought, you know, have a speed steel tournament type thing, and then after the first, maybe the second round, the losers can buy in for a consolation round.
There you go. Nice.
So,
that's a great idea.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm sad I'm going to miss it. Dang it.
Could be fun.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a blast.
Oh yeah.
No one's pride's going to get hurt that day. It's like everybody except one guy is going to want, or one person. Yeah, you got to put Avery on some speed steel gun. Bring out the Savage 64, man.
Let's just get her to take her A22. I mean, it's still painted pink.
There you go. With a red dot. How far is it going to be? Do you know? Have you worked out the details?
I have to look at the size of the paddles. I can't remember if they're 4 inch or 6 inches.
Yeah, so that's you could have put it out a ways.
Well, you've got to put it out far enough so that it's not too easy, but it can't be too far because otherwise the paddles won't flip. So
true.
Need to borrow your 1 to 10 and put it on my 1022.
There you go. Well, that's where the Ely Force comes out. 42 grain juggernaut. The 3.3 at Lapua of Rimfire, man. The target breaker.
High velocity.
High velocity.
Well, I think we're going to go with PRS rule.
Okay.
Ammo. How about that?
Well, Tony's going to tell you that he has an email from PRS that says Ely Force is allowed.
Really?
Yeah, because that's all he shoots is Force. And when we announced, he said, "Well, what about Ely Force?" It's high velocity. So he wrote to PRS, and they said it was okay. I haven't seen the email. I'm taking him at his word as a gentleman. But yeah, he might mention that to you.
Well,
actually, I guarantee he's going to mention it to you.
Now, going back to the targets and how the targets take a beating, at the beginning when we were doing this stuff, there was a lot of high velocity stuff floating around at matches. Targets were taking a much worse beating back then than they are today.
Yeah, we were snapping hangers. It was Armageddon. It was a nightmare.
Oh, I re-welded a lot of targets.
Yeah, well, in the early days, we were learning a lot about targetry.
Yeah,
and after all, you saw the evolution of how efficient can we make it, least amount of welding possible, least number of cuts, least number of bends required. It's pretty wild. It's good. Evolution.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the most boring documentary film ever. The evolution of Rimfire PRS targetry.
We spent a third of this podcast talking about bases and hangers and targets. So
yeah, but that's super interesting though. Come on. Yeah, we should have cut in some videos with diagrams and animations. No, it's good though. I mean, our goal is fast setup, fast takedown, and no failures. That's a trifecta, right? And it fits within your SUV, right?
I've basically come to the conclusion that I need a utility trailer. An enclosed trailer is the one. Spend the money, because that way you can just lock it up and leave it in your driveway and not have to deal with it. Well, where I live, I just leave it out in the driveway.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But then what I've discovered is I'm kind of getting tired of, moving props from location A to location B. So now I just have multiple of the same prop.
Nice.
So
well, we've been stealing all of your Stittsville props for our matches now. So thank you for that. Oh, we set up a angled barrel rack?
I saw that. Yeah.
Feel free to use that. That's my contribution.
The bane of many people's day.
Well, so another spoiler for the July match, there will be a barrel involved, but it's gonna be a tricked out barrel. How about that?
It's a steel drum cut in half with charcoal and a pig roasting over it.
It's definitely a steel drum because we got a weld part to it. But
okay, yeah. Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. So
this is interesting. That's wild.
And I'm trying to figure out what we're gonna do if it's sunny and 28 degrees outside on a steel drum. Because
paint it white.
Paint it white.
Don't leave it black.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not going to be black. So
you can run cooling lines through it with a little water pump.
You could fill it up with water though.
Oh, there you go.
Until it gets hot and holds the heat.
Yeah, that'll take a while though. If you fill it up in the morning, it'll be good. Yeah. Fill it. It's going to take a while for a full 55 gallons to warm up.
Put some ice blocks
and it won't move.
It definitely will not move.
It's just getting 55 gallons of water out to
the
field.
True. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we can make that happen.
He's got ways.
There's some pretty heavy equipment on that farm, so
yeah.
That's true. Yeah. That's good. Oh, it sounds like a great match. I'm sad to miss it. I'm sad I haven't been able to come out to any of your matches, but it's been a crazy year this year.
Yeah, you gotta come out to one of these.
I definitely will. Just I gotta fix some things in my life where I'm not able to shoot other people's matches.
That damn Travis retiring from match directing really put a kink in your schedule.
It was nice. I would drive up. What can I help with? He says nothing, and then I sit down.
Yep.
It's perfect.
It's a temporary retirement until we get insurance figured out.
It's postponement. I mean, it sounds encouraging based on our last talk.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, people are working on it, which is great. You know, so
it's one of these things where, you know, even based on the conversations I've had, like this is one of those things where, of all the accidents that can happen that insurance companies insure, like this is probably going to be one of the safest activity that they can insure. Yeah. And if they do it right, they can put in so many ways out in there that, you know, they can limit coverage, they can limit liability. There's all kinds of stuff they can do.
If you can get insurance to race cars and motorcycles, right? I guarantee you know, I've been at trackside where things don't go right, you know. But anyway, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
If not this year, maybe next year. We'll see. We'll get Travis matches back on the schedule.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because that was a pretty amazing venue as well.
Yeah.
So.
I like those little stages in the cornfields.
Yeah.
The stage.
It's a bit of a hike, but that's okay.
That's good though. It's all part of it.
Yeah.
It's like a little mini hunter match.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to have like an isolated stage because I'd always do the unknown target distance.
Yeah.
Right. They're all 10 inches. You gotta mill it. And
I hated that one. Clearly, I was doing something wrong.
Yeah, but you have it so that's the only stage that's there, so you can't use the other targets for reference, right?
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
Do you ever play around with those unknown distance stages, Pascal? I haven't done any of those.
I haven't done any. And I was just going to say, like, because when you mentioned Travis using other targets as reference, that match that we were at in Allentown, it's at a shooting range, and they only have one 300-yard range. So the way that it worked was you started off at 50 yards. So you had 2 stage on one range. Then you'd move to another range, 2 stages there. So it was 8 stages. So stages 7 and 8 were at 300. And they have 5 targets going out. And they were along the berm. And then there was 1 target, or 7 targets. There was 1 target in the middle. And there was only 10 yards difference between the 2 targets. But the MD had to go over the order multiple times and the shape of the targets, because it wasn't obvious which target was
which one. Oh, interesting.
Was the close one. And on stage 7 it was basically near to far, and on stage 8 it was far to near. And I shot the IPSC, I shot the 2 lollipop ones, and then after that I missed every single shot on the next target. And it was only, I don't know, 3 shooters later I realized I messed up my order in the targets. So 1 target that was 10 yards apart was enough for my dope to be completely off and then never hit that target.
That's wild. So, what I've been doing, and it's messed at least 30 to 40% of the shooters, is we have short, middle, far target, but I put the far target in the middle of the shooting sequence.
Right.
And people can't wrap their head around that target 2 is the far one and target 3 is the middle one. And they just get paralyzed. I don't understand.
So it's interesting because the last weekend we had a stage like that. It was a troop line, but there was one target that was out of sequence.
Yeah.
And Avery looked at it, and I mean, this kid has never written a dope card in her life. Okay, so whatever she does, she just memorized the whole thing, and then that's
nice.
it.
Holy cow.
So she looks through the binoculars, and she's like, oh, it's super simple. It's a troop line on the left side, and then you double tap the one on the right, and then it's a troop line on the left side again. I'm like, okay, so you just basically rewrote the course of fire to make sense in your mind based on the order of the targets. So it's kind of interesting, the approach that she has doing that. But yeah, she's got this way of simplifying things that it's like
perfect.
Yeah, I'm just gonna listen to what you do.
Yeah. Well, like match directing, you kind of mess with people that way too. I remember there was one stage I did that confused the ever living hell out of people. It was,
I remember that.
It was shooting like 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. But if you just shoot one, then go 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, it's a lot more simple than 1, 2, 2, 3.
Yep.
Right. So the way I wrote it isn't the way you should shoot it.
Yeah. If you want it easy.
Yeah. Almost like it was on purpose.
Hey, have you tried impact scoring yet? That new
So I did. We did it for our SPR match last weekend. So here's one thing that I learned. Impact scoring and practice score don't communicate very well. So if you try to import registration from practice score into impact scoring, there's a lot of stuff you might have to enter manually.
Okay.
So if you're going to switch to impact scoring, switch from the registration stage like that. Yeah. That's going to be a whole lot easier. But yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons to it. There's some quirks. You know, the live stuff is the biggest advantage, but it'll also drain batteries like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Those and our fire tablets are already, the old ones are marginal already for a full day. So
yeah, and I mean, so what I ended up doing is I just bought power banks, and they're double power banks. So not only can they charge the tablet, but they can charge the phone that's hotspotting the tablet as well.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
yeah. Interesting. Now, in terms of setting up a match, is it easy as practice score? In terms of building the stages, or it's just different?
I mean, I've always built the stages for practice score on the tablet.
Yeah.
For impact scoring, you build it on your computer. So,
you
know, typing's a whole lot easier and all that stuff. Yeah. And the way that, so if it's T1 is a circle, T2 is a square.
Yeah.
Well, the way you write it in impact scoring, like you'll write T1 circle, T2 square, but then every time you create a new target, you have to give it a description, but you can pick from the description that you already created the targets. Yeah. So when you look at the impact scoring after, if you're keeping track of where the shooter's at, you know that, okay, he should be shooting the circle at this point. So
I gotcha.
That's a little bit more as opposed to target 1, target 2. I never renamed all the targets in practice score because it just took too long.
Yeah.
So, but that's a nice feature. I've uploaded the scores. The advantage with practice score uploading it to PRS is that PRS has an upload feature. So you just put the link, it uploads, and that's it. For impact,
how does it grab the PRS ID from the registration? It doesn't need it.
You go to the practice score results.
Yeah.
Copy the link, put that in PRS, and upload, and it'll pick it up from there.
No, but does it pick up the shooter's PRS ID number?
Yep.
From there?
Yep.
Oh. Because I've been downloading into CSV files and uploading that. I could just point to practice score. Yeah.
Well, if you go to impact scoring, you download to CSV.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. So, kids, if you thought talking about targetry was fun, I bet you enjoyed this whole scoring, practice score versus impact scoring.
So,
man, the most boring topic, but we're enthralled by this. This is the sad part about our lives, boys and girls.
Listen, I set it up on Friday. From an MD perspective, I'll chalk it up to inexperience. My next experience, I think, will be better. From a shooter perspective, I think most shooters enjoy practice score because of the live feature to it.
Impact scoring.
Or impact scoring, yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it's although it's kind of it was neat to watch because Dory was shooting, and as they were entering the scores, we would see her score change on our phone. So it's not even once the shooter is done; you can see the update throughout the stage.
I might have to try that for the
stats are neat.
Regionals.
Yeah, but I would definitely recommend trying it on a match beforehand, like before. And that was the whole reason I did it last weekend, because we want to use it for the qualifier and the finale.
That's interesting. I should have done it all the Stittsville matches. We had like 3 or 4 this year. Yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely start from
for me is for me to build a match. It's so fast because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
I just looked at our total in practice score. We have over 835 matches.
Wow.
In our system.
That's impressive.
That's a lot of matches. So
yeah.
So for me, the only reason to change is to make the shooter's experience better, right? At potentially the expense of the match director. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty good. The one other thing too is you have to designate an RO to the squad. So we had 3 squads. Yeah. So we needed one person per squad to sign into the tablet using their impact scoring ID.
Gotcha.
And then from there, they can enter the scores.
Yeah. I think that's for us. Dedicated ROs haven't been a luxury we've had in our series, just because, we just rotate spotter, timer, RO.
Well, it's the same thing. Once you've got that person signed in, you can rotate.
You can pass it around.
Do that stuff. But it's just somebody needs to sign in for the squad on the tablet.
Okay. So you're still passing it around.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, the alternative is you make everybody an RO and everybody can use their phone.
Yeah. No, that's not going to happen. It's already bad enough with one tablet per squad.
Listen, it was suggested to me, so passing along the suggestion.
We will take that under consideration.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds good. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm curious about it. I want to try it out, but where do you find the time? It's like, we're going to have 26 matches this season. Almost 30 matches if you count all the other formats. So,
well, Matt asked me the question. He's like, "Are we ever going to use impact scoring?" My response to Matt last Monday was, "It's definitely not going to happen for the match this weekend."
Yeah.
And by the time we got to the weekend, I had put it on. So
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got to bite the bullet and try it out.
Yeah, and I mean,
well, when I start hitting the road, I'll have all kinds of time during the week. Play around with it in the sanctity of my enclosed trailer.
Or hire a chauffeur, and then you've got all the travel time that you can.
That's true. I tried to convince my wife to come out or at least drive back with me. She said, "No, not happening. No thanks." She doesn't. She's like, "Are there going to be hotels?" "Yeah, we're going to drive right by them."
We'll use their parking lot.
You can use the parking lot. Casinos, Walmart parking lots, Costco's, Cabela's. You get to see some of the best that Canada's got to offer, honey.
Has she ever been with you on one of those tours?
She's met me at certain locations where we've hung out for the week, and then she's flown back from there.
Gotcha.
So she hasn't actually done a road trip. I think eventually, if I have the right, if I can get like a Sprinter van kitted out, van lifestyle, maybe, there's a certain level of amenities that must be provided.
That's fair.
Not quite camping, not quite glamping, somewhere in the middle.
Oh, it's definitely glamping. No, it's definitely on the higher end. Nowhere near that middle. Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, as a Canadian, you only know so many people that have driven from coast to coast.
Yeah.
Like, if people have done it once, it's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Mind you, we know Rick, and Rick does it on an annual basis. So,
there was one year I did it twice. Some stupid reason. My wife traveled me to the maritime matches once. So we did matches on the weekend. So during the week we toured, Nova Scotia, Cabot Trail, and all that. So yeah, it's pretty good. Cape Breton.
Yeah, because it's
12 hours for me.
15, 16 hours to get the PEI, I was going to say.
Yeah, it's 12 to Nova Scotia from Montreal.
Right.
So it's a full day of driving. And I'm awesome.
It's only one.
So she was so she was entertained.
What new swear words is Rick going to make up today?
Yeah. Yeah. That's wild. That's awesome, guys. Anything else we got to cover? Did we cover everything? We covered more than people wanted us to. That's for sure. But that's okay.
I've got a few things.
Yeah. Go for it, Mr. Travis.
All right. During our podcast with Spexlight, we came up with the Spexlight challenge, right?
Yes.
So
is it happening?
It's happening. They sent me the fill. I'm making the bags. I've got the handles embroidered for you so that you can tell which one's which. And so I'll have all 5 of theirs plus a glass fill one with you. Hopefully,
nice.
I'm going to get them done this weekend. So before you leave.
Okay. I'm leaving Monday, right?
Yes. I'll find a way to get them to you.
I could swing through. I'm passing through Ottawa. I gotta see Asmir on my way out.
Okay.
I don't know if you're anywhere. I can swing by.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Because then I'll get working on the demo barricade that's got all the different parts hanging out there, so you can try the bags.
I think that's it's going to be really cool to see what people do think of the different types of fill.
Yeah, because I have the little jars. Those are already pretty exciting. People love seeing it. Like the different weights and the densities. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to mention about Spexlight is after our podcast with Apex, Dave reached out to us and just said, "Hey, how can I help Team Canada? What do you guys need?" As an American company reaching out, just being like, what can we do to help the shooting community? I thought that was pretty cool and worth mentioning because, I didn't think that an American company would do that. How can I support Team Canada? So that was pretty awesome. I know that he's going to be working with Carly on how that's going to go.
That was a great conversation we had. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Family business, third generation family business.
Yeah. He called me on Friday afternoon just to wish me happy Father's Day weekend. I was like, wow, nice. You really know how to treat your customers, right? So it's I really like dealing with them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The other thing, worst kept secret out there is I'm going to be the retailer for Desert Precision Gunworks starting soon.
Nice.
I'm getting my firearms business license. I'm kind of at the end stages of that. So they have the 457 actions that everybody loves so much, right? But they're also coming out with their new 700 action. So that's going to fill, custom. he designed it from scratch. It kind of has, it's like a mix between a CZ. It uses I think a Voodoo firing pin, has a CZ rail. It's supposed to be super, super smooth. And
Nice.
The price is reasonable as well. So they're going to be available in Canada in the fall. So I'm going to put
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm going to put a forum online where people are interested. We can kind of get some names put down, because I've already had people emailing me. They saw I was selling Desert Precision extractors. So they said, people would just email me, when are you going to get their guns? So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, buddy. That's awesome.
Yeah. And, I think they're going to be really, really good to work with, and they make quality guns. So
they have a stellar reputation out there.
Yeah, I'm super happy to be working with them. I don't want to. I think Kenny's not going to put anything out there that doesn't pass muster. Usually, I don't buy Generation 1 of anything, but I don't think I'd have a second thought about buying an action that he designed on version 1.0. Then the other thing I'm doing is signed up to be a dealer for MDT and MPA. So whenever people order their barreled actions, we can get accessories and all in one stop. Trigger Tech, MDT, MPA, and if there's anything else that people want, I gotta look at that as well. But
that's awesome.
Yeah,
because you're not busy enough.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. I just saw today an ad for MDT gun cleaner.
I saw that.
Did you see that? I said, "Holy cow!"
Yeah, they're really branching out to everything.
Yeah.
I was talking to their dealer rep, and he said, "Oh, so, what are you interested in selling?" I said, "Everything but your bags."
Got that already. We're covered.
We got that covered. Yeah,
we got that covered. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Travis, I'm looking forward to the walnut coming out.
The walnut, yeah. Yeah, a little bit harder on the outside than the peanut.
Yeah, there you
go. Yeah. So anyway, that's the big news. That,
cool.
DPG is coming to Canada. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Travis. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Very excited about that. So
yeah.
That's cool. Bossgear.ca, man. Stay tuned. Or people emailing you. What's your email?
Sales.
How do you want to get in touch with you?
Well, either sales@bossgear.ca is my email, or through social media, Facebook or Instagram. It's bossgear.ca.
Sales@bossgear.ca, right?
That's right. Yep.
There you go. So for those that are watching this on radio, it's sales@bossgear.ca.
Yeah.
Get in line.
Yeah, I'll send an email out to the mailing list, and I'll post on social media, and I'll probably post on the Facebook page, the CRPS Facebook page, the interest form. They're trying to get an idea of how many people want. Is it going to be 10 rifles, 15 rifles? Is it going to be 5 rifles? But we don't know until we get that information out there. So,
nice. If you send me a one pager with a QR code on it,
yeah.
I can put it on the sign-in table near the demo bags.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And the specs like bags and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that couldn't hurt.
No, that's for sure. I'll try and put something together in all my spare time.
No rush. No pressure.
No. So
we found the bottleneck.
Yeah. Well, I'm also working on trying to go get Boss Gear International. So that's another project I'm working on at the moment. It's not enough hours in a day.
No.
Yeah. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my big update.
Well, thank you for everything you do for us, for supporting us, literally, us shooters out there.
Yeah.
We appreciate the certificates that you put out there. They do get snapped up. All the guys that try it, like the brand new shooters, they try the bag. How do I get those? It's gonna be on the table. Yeah. $25. Perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, happy to support any way I can. So
That's good. Well, we appreciate it.
yeah.
And I can
Pascal?
attest to the ruggedness of the bags. I had your pump pillow attached to my backpack, and we were just putting our gear out, getting ready to go shoot a match, and Colin Hart drove over the pump pillow with his truck, and no damage. It completely withstood the truck, and it's like it was flattened. It was a little bit dirty. I dusted it off, and good to go.
Oh,
Good to go.
Pass the test, eh?
There you go.
It's now broken in, officially broken in.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was funny. I was thinking the other day, because I just have the one size of pump pillow, and I keep seeing bigger ones. Like, should I make a bigger pump pillow? So I don't know. If people want a bigger pump pillow, let me know, and I'll think about designing one.
You can call it the plump pillow.
There we go.
You're welcome.
That's awesome. It's getting used.
Well, put a demo one for us, buddy. Get sewing, because you don't have enough stuff to do.
Yeah, I will.
All right.
Cool.
Hey, Pascal, thanks so much for coming on.
And thanks for having me.
You're welcome,
awesome.
buddy. Congratulations on the crazy targetry and the crazy matches. Everyone loves it.
Yeah,
I
and
look forward to one day.
I'll try to the next ones that I design. I'll try and post them up on the Facebook page, so that way people can see the little
Generate discussion. Yeah,
tortured creatures that I create.
yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, please do. We love seeing stuff like that.
Okay.
Gets people talking. That'd be awesome. Hey, good luck with the Pig Slayer match.
Yeah, thank you.
And the Travis, good luck on the dueling tree. We hope you clean up there.
Yeah, we'll see. I only got a red dot on that thing, so it can't be too far.
Well, just zero. It's gonna be between 75 and 95 yards, I bet. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck to Avery as she takes on the world for Canada.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. Hydrate.
I'm gonna enjoy that.
All right. Rimfire Nation Podcast probably brought to you by Tesro.ca, home for all your precision shooting needs. Also, Travis, Pascal.ca, also now is providing all that gear too. So thanks, Travis. All right, guys, we'll see you on the firing line. Our next podcast is next Wednesday. We're going to be having Mr. Matt Flowside Kolsch on from Midwest, and that'll take place next Wednesday. I will probably be in Manitoba, so you'll get to see the inside of my trailer for the next few weeks on these podcasts. So see you all in the firing line. We'll see you out west, and I can't wait to get out there. Have a good evening, everybody. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.